Alrighty, welcome to the first episode of the Career Mastery Conversations podcast. So you might be watching this on YouTube, so the video form, but you can also find it on Spotify and iTunes. Likewise, if you're listening on the podcast version, you can find it on YouTube as well. So to kick off the first episode, I wanted to talk about ChatGPT. So if you've been watching the news, or you might have seen some conversations at work or on social media about ChatGPT and what it is and what it means for work. And, there's very a lot of doom and gloom and a lot of fear around what ChatGPT is and what it could mean, especially regarding artificial intelligence and, the coming of the Terminators and Skynet and all that good stuff. So I wanted to talk about it today because I think it's very important to, while I'm definitely not an expert on this topic, I think it's good just to try and understand what ChatGPT is and what it could mean for us and just to have a talk about it. So before we get into it, I've Googled, speaking of AI, what ChatGPT is, just to sort of frame the conversation. So ChatGPT, also known as Chat Generative Pre-trained Transformer, it's a bit of a mouthful, is a chatbot launched by OpenAI in November 2022. So it's pretty much hot off the press. It is built on top of OpenAI's GPT-3 family of large language models and is fine-tuned and approached to transformer learning with both supervised and reinforcement learning techniques. I don't know about you, but I don't really understand what any of that means. But what can ChatGPT do? It can be used to generate coherent and well-written text in a wide range of styles, topics, and languages. In addition, it can do news summaries, product descriptions, and stories can be generated. Thanks to this chat, problems can be analyzed, or solutions or answers to questions can be generated. So essentially, from what I understand, it's like an interface that you can type questions into, or you can serve a prompt into it, and it will generate a text response. So you could ask it, what is the key to happiness? And it will give you a response based on this this AI technology having scraped the internet and absorbed all this information and processed it, and then it will sort of, spit it back out to you in a sort of AI response, which is pretty interesting. I mean, it's pretty interesting, sort of new technology. But I guess the big thing is everyone's afraid, and there's been so much doom and gloom about what it means for people's jobs. So I've seen headlines about things like, it's going to destroy white-collar jobs. It's going to automate so many tasks and so many day-to-day things that people do in their roles. So it might make some roles redundant. Is it going to be the end of the earth? Probably not. Do you know what I mean? Like, how many technologies have we come and have we seen come and go over the last few years? And the example that comes to mind for me is blockchain. People have been talking about crypto and blockchain and NFTs, and while I do think there's going to be a place for this technology, it's by no means, it's new in the broad scheme of the world, but blockchain's been around for a few years now and companies have been tinkering with it. But I think we're really yet to see a really broad mainstream example of how blockchain is going to, or has, or whatever, completely revolutionize the world. Crypto has been such a big thing, but in terms of the day-to-day life of you and I wouldn't say that blockchain has really had a massive impact on how we live our lives. But I'd be keen to hear if you've got a different opinion. Shoot it in the comments. Would love to hear your thoughts. But I think it's very easy as a knee-jerk reaction to be caught up in the fear, and the uncertainty of what this new technology is going to mean for people's lives and for people's jobs. And what I try to catch myself when I try to go into fear mode is to say, all right, well, what's the opportunity that this technology poses, right? Because if you stop seeing it as a threat and seeing it more as something that could benefit you or something that you could learn from, start thinking about ways that it could be incorporated into your career. I think it's really important. And if you can try and understand this technology and try and anticipate or start to anticipate the ways that you could work with this technology, if you work in a role that could potentially, in the broad scheme of things, be made redundant by it. For example, if you work as a copywriter. So I work as a content manager. So I work with people who write content. And apparently, if you're someone who writes content, then ChatGPT poses a threat to your role because no one needs you to write content anymore because you can just go to this chatbot and type in, generate a blog post for me on, career advice or the latest career tip, and it will do it for you. You don't need someone to write it. If you think that could affect your career, then you should probably start learning about it. That said, if it makes you feel any better, I've worked in technology companies, and my last role in particular was at a tech company. And even for a technology company, especially big companies, the rate of adoption of new technology for the most part is not super fast. I mean, maybe for like super tech companies like Facebook or Google, or there's been a lot of talk about Microsoft incorporating ChatGPT into their algorithms on the Bing platform. Firstly, the idea of people stopping using Google and using Bing is pretty funny. Maybe that will happen. I don't know. Don't want to be on the wrong side of history, but could happen. But I don't see it happening anytime soon. Can't even remember what I was saying. I was going on a tangent. But essentially, I think that we're a long way from seeing this technology have a really massive adoption in a way that's going to disrupt people's roles. I mean, it might happen. But again, I think it's just going to create opportunities. So people who may have worked in content writing roles, maybe they will start to use ChatGPT and then step more into editing roles. So you will serve prompts into the ChatGPT platform, and instead of actually writing the content, you will edit what is received from the chatbot, because essentially this technology is still learning. So AI is, from what I understand, and again, very basic, super rudimentary. I could barely even read the description of it. You serve a prompt into it and it spits out content, but there's no guarantee that content is going to be actually perfect straight out of the gate, or right for your brand if you're writing it for a company, or right for your website, or right for your products or services that you sell. So algorithms need to learn. So by the more prompts and queries that are served into the platform, and there may be a function in the platform, I'm not sure, that then allows you to cross-check whether or not the information that was served to you was accurate and relevant and had of a high quality. And that kind of feedback will again help to further teach the algorithm what to do and how to best serve you as the master of it, not it the master of you. I think you're going to be a good place if you can sort of imagine that pivot. But I'm keen to hear what your thoughts are, because again, these are crazy times. New technology comes around, everyone gets afraid, and then the buzz dies down and we all move on to the next shiny object. But some technology sticks. So I can't imagine what it was like for my parents. I'm 33. My parents are in their 60s or 70s. Can't imagine what it was like. You grew up without the internet. Not only that, you grew up watching TV and there was like 4 stations, and everyone watched the same stuff. There's none of this, I'm on Hulu, I'm on Netflix, I'm on Disney Plus, I'm on Paramount Plus, I'm on HBO, and I'm on free-to-air television. You're watching, there's a million shows to watch. No, there was like 6 shows and the news. And it was all in black and white. I'm not sure if my parents had color TV. They might have. But it's all in black and white. And then all of a sudden they're in their 40s and the internet comes around. And now it's so embedded into our day-to-day lives, we don't even think about it. But I can't imagine what that life transition was like. So maybe ChatGPT will be sticking around. Maybe it'll be, maybe it will massively change the way that we live, but I still think that we're a long way from seeing that adoption. Because even when the internet came around and computers came around, it was a long time before people had computers in their homes, that everyone was using one, and then tablets, and then smartphones, all that sort of thing. So technology moves, but it moves quickly, but in terms of how it's adopted into mass society, it doesn't tend to move quite as fast, I don't think. But we'll just have to wait and see. But I think keep learning about ChatGPT. Don't be afraid of it. Try to learn about it. See it as an opportunity. At least that's what I'm trying to do. And, together we'll all be fine. Awesome. Well, that was the first episode of the Career Mastery Conversations. Hope you liked it. If you're on YouTube, feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. But I'll see you in the next episode. Cheers. Have a good one.